Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And today we will be reviewing Supergirl Season 2, Episode 10, We Can Be Heroes. And this week's episode, I really liked it. Kind of almost liked it better than last week's episode, surprisingly enough. But what we get in this episode is we get a return or the return of a villain we've seen on several other episodes or from last season, and that is Live Wire, the ex-disc jockey turned supervillain, and also turned one of the arch nemesis of Supergirl. And we basically see Live Wire in prison. She has one of these prison psychologists in, or therapists, and they're trying to basically rehabilitate her. And of course, if you remember anything about Live Wire, she just doesn't seem like the type who you can psychologically rehabilitate very easy. So of course, the therapist is having a great deal of issues in helping her in that way. And simultaneously, there seems to be a plan or some type of prison break going on. And we find that both a prison guard and an inmate have escaped with the help of the prison guard. And they're coming to free Live Wire. So it's like this big prison break. They free Live Wire. They do a lot of damage on the way out. And it becomes known to Supergirl that one of her arch nemesis has now escaped. And Supergirl is pretty stressed out about this because, this is just something she doesn't want to deal with at the moment. So it's really put her in a position of stress. As well what's happening, we get over to the Guardian and Win, or Jimmy and Win, and they're basically doing a, one of their, normal patrols and things like that to catch villains. And this time, Jimmy, or the Guardian, is injured pretty badly. He's actually shot, and so Win's pretty much had it. He says, you're going to eventually get yourself killed. You need to tell Kara about this. You need to tell Supergirl. And so, this time, Jimmy the Guardian, he doesn't give Win a whole lot of trouble about it. He says, okay, I tell you what, tomorrow I'll go tell Kara about the incident. And so, then we move on to over to the DEO. And there we find that the White Martian, who John has basically put in containment, or one of those containment facilities or holding cells, she seems to be kind of losing her mind. She's having these psychic visions, and she's basically just going crazy. She ends up breaking the cells, walls, or the glass that holds them in, and as she breaks it, she falls out, and seemingly she's under some kind of attack psychically, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. Why is she dying? Physically, there doesn't appear to be anything wrong with her, and so John is very non-responsive about the whole ordeal. He's seemingly in this, doesn't care if she lives or dies, because the Martian Manhunter, or John, he's basically going back or thinking about what the White Martian race did to the Green Martians, and how his daughters, and the war that was waged from the White Martians on the Green Martians. So, John's really nasty about it. He's really like, he hopes she, dies, basically, and so he's pretty hardcore about it. And, so we kind of then move over to Mon-El, and, from where we left off last week with Mon-El's seemingly pretty serious about this superhero thing. And he seems to be doing pretty well, pretty fair with his training and coming along. And as Kara knows, she's going to have to face not only a live wire, but she now sees that there are two other people, or a total of three people, that seemingly possess live wire's power. And she knows she's going to need some help to go and deal with live wire. So she says, okay, well, Monel, it's time for you to suit up and things like this. So Monel's getting ready to go with Supergirl to confront live wire. And so Monel gets suited up. They prepare a suit for him, but I was kind of disappointed. This is the one thing about this week's episode I was disappointed about. I was disappointed when they said, they talked about Monel suiting up. I thought they were going to have his costume ready, and I thought we were going to get to see that. But he basically looks like he's just wearing a basic DEO outfit, and I didn't care much for that. I don't know if this is going to be his normal costume. I'm thinking it's not. I'm thinking they just threw him into something. I'm thinking Wynn's going to have to make him a costume, but I thought that Wynn was supposed to do that before he went out. So I don't know if that's going to be his normal costume. It might be, but that's the one thing I didn't like about this episode. I really wasn't impressed if that's going to be his costume. But anyway, next we get Jimmy finally having his meeting with Kara, the Guardian, where he's supposed to reveal who he is. And he's trying to do it, but after Kara explains to basically to Jimmy that that Monel is not responsible, and they kind of have there's this kind of emotional back and forth about Monel now working with Kara, it kind of comes off a bit from Jimmy at times, like some kind of jealousy, and Kara seems to be showing a lot of interest in Monel. So I don't know if it's just the fact he thinks Monel is irresponsible, or it could also be that he feels that as the Guardian, Supergirl should be aware that there are other heroes in the city and that they all should be working together. But Kara seems to be dismissing that and basically, saying that Monel's who's going to be helping her. So Jimmy, through the conversation, is kind of put off by that. So he never gets a chance or never reveals to Kara that, or Supergirl, that he is the Guardian. So Jimmy decides that, hey, I'm going to just go off anyway. I'm going to deal with live wire on my own, because Wynn basically figures out where wire is before the rest of the team, and he comes up with a plan of where he believes that the Guardian's reputation can be saved if he gets down there and he saves, or he captures and defeats Live Wire before Supergirl can. But Monel overhears him. And, I actually skipped the part. It was actually Monel and Kara already going to face Live Wire and what appeared to be her team of villains. And of course, Monel, being inexperienced and being not taking it very serious, or just being Monel and not, listening to orders and following directions, Monel actually, puts the team in jeopardy. He's supposed to protect the police, while Supergirl, Live Wire, and her minions. But Monel doesn't listen because he sees Supergirl is in trouble, and seems to have this emotional connection to Supergirl where it comes first. And so he jumps out just like he did in last week's episode when he rushed off the portal, to help Supergirl without letting Alex, her sister, know that they were in there so people could come in and help them later. So he still is having the same issue he had from last week. So he leaves these cops exposed, and the Guardian comes in right in time to try and protect the cops because he sees that they're, not exposed. And one of Livewire's minions actually shoots a bolt of electricity. The Guardian jumps in the middle of it, and he's badly injured. Livewire and her minion didn't get away. And then, we basically get Kara, at this point, able to out who the Guardian is, or who Jimmy is. So now the cat's, pretty much out of the bag, with that. And so Jimmy, they kind of have their, their conversation about the danger he's put himself in. And, Kara's really hard, on him and tells him that, hey, look, you're going to stop this. You're not going to do this anymore because either you're going to stop this or I'm going to stop you. So, they kind of have this falling out about it. But as Wynn sees how everything goes down, Wynn comes up with a plan for the Guardian to come in and stop Livewire before Supergirl knows about it, so that Supergirl can then see the Guardian, as the hero he's trying to prove that he is. And that, he can make a difference and that she can work alongside, with him. Monel overhears it, and so, of course, Monel, he messes up everything he gets involved in, but he hears it, and, this time he is actually trying to help, to get down there, and, Livewire and her minions, they prove to be, basically, more than the Guardian and Monel can handle, and both of them end up actually being captured. And they end up being captured, and, basically now the only person who can save them or rescue them at this point is Supergirl. So their entire plan fails, and, so they're now in danger. Thing that happens throughout the episode is that we find out that it isn't even Livewire that that's part of this. That there is actually an imposter to Livewire, and there's this type of doctor or scientist doing experiments, and what he's doing is he's actually extracting Livewire's power to create other people like Livewire in order to make super soldiers for military applications and different things like that. And he's able to basically capture Monel and the Guardian, because he has powers too. He's actually experimenting on himself as he lets them know that, hey, I'm just not a regular guy. One thing about us, scientists is, in a lot of cases, we're the first persons to experiment on ourselves, So, Supergirl has to come down there, and she has to, rescue, Monel and the Guardian. But another scene I missed through the series that was very important is that John the Martian Manhunter, through this episode, he does come around with some convincing of Alex. He comes around as far as helping the White Martian. And the reason that happens is because, Alex is very convincing to, reminding him that the White Martian saved his life as well. and that, that at this point she needs him now, and she also convinces him he mind melds with her. Maybe he can free her mind, as there's nothing wrong with her physical body. And then we get this very touching scene where, the Martian Manhunter, he asks, both Supergirl and Alice to come in there with him as he goes and mind melds with the White Martian. And they have, this scene where they both forgive each other, and you get to see how the White Martian had to kill some of her people in order to save some of the Green Martian. So that was a very, very touching scene. And, so at this point, both John and the White Martian are now, on good terms. There's that forgiveness there. And as well, she's now released. She thinks she's going back to her cell, but he releases her, and that. And so we get, their relationship on track to a good place. But going back now to Supergirl and coming in to save Mon-El and the Guardian, she does arrive there to save them, but she also finds that Livewire is being tortured as her powers are being extracted to power these other supervillains that are basically just pretending to be her, and so Supergirl saves Livewire as well, but as she saves her, she's hit with a big bolt of electricity, and this gives Livewire a chance to basically destroy Supergirl. But Supergirl convinces Livewire to strike a bargain, with her, and basically that, or rather, I'm sorry, Livewire is free, but she's going to actually kill the doctor who, who basically took her prisoner with her powers, and so Supergirl convinces the doctor. Livewire, she convinces Livewire that, hey, don't kill him, if you don't kill him, I will give you a head start. In other words, I will capture you, but it won't be today. And I'm fast, I can catch up with you, but my attention is not on you right now. I'll give you a head start. Just allow him to live. And so Livewire basically takes the deal and doesn't kill the doctor in that way. So Supergirl, she saves Mon-El and the Guardian, but she has two conversations with both of them. And the conversation first, with Jimmy, and it's not in a good place because she basically tells Jimmy, after she sees Jimmy's really serious about doing the superhero thing, he's not going to stop. She basically lets him know that, hey, I'm not going to stop you, Jimmy, but I'm never going to condone this, and as long as, you're doing this, I can't stand alongside with you, I can't work with you guys. And so there's basically this end to their relationship because the Guardian's not going to stop, or Jimmy's not going to stop, and Kara's not going to change her mind. And Wynn's kind of caught up in it too because he's helping the Guardian. So, although Supergirl wants everything to go back like it was, it can no longer go back to that. So they have that separation. She's kind of separated from the team, at that point. And she also has a conversation with Mon-El, because it's basically come out and she's understanding that Mon-El's, everything he's doing is not so much for the benefit or the protection of the citizens, but he's doing everything for Kara because Kara remembers that he actually kissed her when he was ill and sick on the episode, and so she's understanding that his motivation behind all this is her. And so she doesn't want that. She doesn't want to work with somebody who's, in that place, with her. And so they have a conversation about it. But Kara basically um, doesn't return Monel's feelings, at least in this episode. So don't know if they're gonna, ever have something romantic going on, but Kara kind of sidelines him, similar to how she did the Guardian or Jimmy, So it's just a very awkward situation, it seems, and those two seem to be in very awkward places. And finally, we get the Martian Manhunter, and his relationship with the white Martian. And, she reveals to him that, all is not good, that although she's free from, he helped to bring her out, that she was being psychically attacked, that wasn't something that she manifested within herself, but that was coming from outside, and it was coming from the white Martians. But not only that, they know where she is, and they're headed to Earth. So, it seems that what we're going to have here is we're going to have another one of these big epic battles between Supergirl, maybe John, and the White Martian. So, I don't know, maybe we'll get another chance to see a big team up of heroes to fight off the White Martians, because depending on how many White Martians are coming, this could end up being basically a big, battle, and help is possibly going to be needed. So, don't really know what's going to happen with that, and if she's going to have to maybe bring in the Flash or Green Arrow or the Legends of Tomorrow. I hope that happens, but anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to give some comments about what you thought of this week's episode, feel free to do that. Let me know if you liked Monel's costume, or you hope that we would have got something that looked a lot better instead of just a DEO outfit. And until next time, take care, guys.